Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Perhaps these victims wouldn't have been victims if they'd only watched Seinfeld.
A judge sentenced Thomas Fraga to 45 months in prison for convincing his friends to invest in his phony business ventures. 17 people invested a total of more than $2 million. Fraga named one of his fake companies the Vandelay Contracting Corporation, a reference to a Seinfeld episode.
What delay industries?
That's the one where George Costanza makes up a latex company called Vandelay Industries so he could receive unemployment benefits. Fraga pleaded guilty to wire fraud and will eventually have to reimburse his victims. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A Swiss politician's been fined almost $7,400 for buying water pistols. Authorities said the toys violate the country's strict weapons law. Mark Jaisley is a city councilor in a small town west of Zurich. He ordered the water pistols through the ubiquitous online retailer Temu for his godchildren as a gift. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second-guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Patience is a virtue. Did you really think I was going to leave you hanging? I'm addressing that to Gmail, by the way, over on our YouTube page. He said, well, question mark? Like the judge from Caddyshack? Well, we had important things to do. Highly technical, behind-the-scenes radio type of stuff that needed to happen in order to make this show possible. And by that, I mean I needed to use the bathroom, and I took a quick trip over to the Tasty Cake wall to get myself a glazed apple pie.
Ooh, good choice, good choice.
Yeah, the glazed apple pie, if I can wax a little philosophically about this for a second, is easily one of the greatest offerings that Tasty Cake has ever put out there. And Tasty Cake is not a sponsor, by the way, at least that I'm aware. But I'm singing their praises all the same. The nutritional value of this particular food stuff, not so great. I'm looking right now, and I'm wishing that I had not. There's 480 calories in this thing.
Jeez. In just that little thing?
Yeah. That's a lot of caloric content packed into this little tiny wrapper. But I'm going to eat the whole thing, including the wrapper here, at some point during an upcoming break.
That's one of those treats where you just gotta not think about the numbers, just enjoy the taste.
Sometimes you just got to let yourself go, and that's what we invite you to do on tonight's Matt Rooney Show. Greetings, of course, friends, family, allies, frenemies, everyone else who lies somewhere in between on the spectrum that is life. This is another edition of the Matt Rooney Show, and I am the aforementioned Matt Rooney. Pleased, privileged, all the things, as Gen Z likes to say, to be with you once again this evening, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Yes, they give us 3 hours, and by the end of the 3 hours, some of you will be questioning why. But they do. They're crazy enough to give us 3 hours here every weekend, Sunday night here at the station, to opine on the week gone by with the goal, I think a noble goal, of preparing you for the week ahead. This program started in July 2021 when the COVID scam was still very much underway. Didn't have many slow news days back then, and the news cycle has not slowed up since. So I have no doubt that we are going to have no problem finding things to discuss tonight on the program. All the more so because we are joined this evening by one of my favorite producers of all time here at 1210 WPHT. He is, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, a big, lovable, furry love ball of sorts. Justin Otero is in the producing booth. Hello, Justin.
Hey, that is I could not ask for a more thoughtful, kind, and welcoming introduction as that.
Every descriptor you just used for me is how I like to think of myself. Warm, kind, welcoming.
Yeah,
These
let's
are all
go with that.
These are all things that are intrinsic to Matt Rooney. But no, seriously, I'm glad you're here. Producer Dez is doing God knows what. He apparently, at least he likes to tell us that he has a real job. He likes to brag about, I got a real job. I'm making money.
Proof.
Yeah, I'd like to see proof. I told him I want to see his W-2 or a pay stub or something, but he got all snarky in typical Dez fashion and has not produced the proofs as of now. So he's out, I want to say the rest of the month, right? By the way, who does this at a job? Only Dez. Where he's like, oh, by the way, and it's like very, monotone, like quasi-goth kind of way that he's got, I'm gonna be out the rest of the month. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's fine. What employer, what supervisor, what boss wouldn't be okay with you just announcing that you're going to be gone for the entirety of the remainder of a month?
Only one, and that is Mr. Frank Canale. That's the only one I can think of that would ever be willing and able to accommodate somebody saying, you're only here for 1 day a week. You got to take the whole month off. That's completely fine with me.
So fair point, right? Because we're joking about me being nice. I'm actually not that nice. Frank is ridiculously nice.
Otherworldly levels of nice. And even when he can complain, he usually doesn't. Like, I think of the time that I was going to live broadcast from the inauguration, and I was going to do this really cool on-scene near the parade from the Willard Hotel thing, and then they end up moving it all indoors. So I said, you know what? A snowstorm's coming. They moved it indoors. I'm getting the heck out of here. Frank did all this work for nothing. He put together this whole kit for me, and he didn't say once, Matt, you put me through hell for nothing. He just said, okay, sounds good. And just keep it moving.
And he just kept it moving. So he is a sweetheart. Woot woot. What's up, everyone? Mangle Mosh, Suze Loves, Jeffy, Kimmy, everyone gathering over on the YouTube page. By the way, that's one of the ways you can participate with tonight's program. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT, where you can confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound. Same goes for Justin. He is, as they would say, Justin, in the language of your ancestors, quite caliente. Muy caliente.
You are just heaping on the praise and compliments tonight. What has gotten into you?
Because I know how hard you work, how overworked you are, and you came in here on Sunday night, so I am just kissing your keister to make sure tonight goes as wonderfully as it possibly can.
Trying to make sure I come back for the next 2 weeks.
I'm trying to make sure I've got you while Dez is gone. Because you're one of the great. Did I mention you're one of the greats around here?
I don't think you did, but I'm always down.
Next week I'll take your coffee order if you want.
Well, I can't drink coffee, so I was just so as I said that, I remembered as Supermen cannot tolerate kryptonite, right? That's caffeine to Justin Otero. You cannot give him caffeine.
Nope.
Nope.
It will not be good for my heart.
Will not be good for his heart. And
I need that.
Well, I was going to say, there's a lot of things in life you can do without, even if you don't always think so. If it doesn't feel that way, kind of need a heart that's working, right? That's science, by the way, folks, the real kind of science, not the, hey, there's 57 genders because I feel like it kind of science. That's actual goodness gracious, tried and tested scientific method, scientific fact. 855-839-1210 is the number here if you want to call into the station. As always, regular listeners know this. We're pretty stingy with the phone line here on Sunday nights. You got to make it good, and occasionally someone does. We did have a pretty decent caller 2 weeks ago, and then Dez was really mean to the guy, and then hung up to him. Yeah, and then Dez actually, I nearly fell out of my chair. Dez apologized on air for being short with the guy. Yes.
Somehow, some way, Dez Valdez made a live on-air apology?
Yes. I mean, you're more likely to see, I don't know, at least I thought you'd be more likely to see Nancy Pelosi give up drinking or, Putin swear off vodka than ever hear producer Dez apologize. But he went on air and he said, I am sorry. I was kind of short with that guy. If he wants to call back, he can.
I'm assuming he did not call back.
He did not call back. He sent me a long email talking about how rude Dez is. So we have fun around here, don't we?
Oh,
so remember, 855-839-1210 is the number. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Now, things get rude over on YouTube, too. Gmail, we have already established that Rooney is Rachel Maddow with facial hair. His alter ego like Hannah Montana. And then Mankomush says, nah, Rooney's neck is too short. That is true. She does have a very prominent neck.
I'm trying to. I guess that's Manglemush coming to your defense in a way.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, how do you respond when somebody says that you resemble a far left lesbian anchor? Like what do you how are you supposed to respond to that? What can one say?
I genuinely.
Now I'll tell you what
again.
I'll tell you what I have heard before, and I think this is just because we're two white guys with thick black glasses. Someone once compared me to Chris Hayes. Actually, you know who compared me to Chris Hayes? This is kind of funny. Do you remember Olivia Nuzzi?
Oh yeah.
So Olivia Nuzzi, I kind of sort of know her, right? Not like RFK Jr. know her or anything like that. But she comes from Jersey. I come from Jersey. So in the past, when she was doing, her reporting, her political reporting, I had interaction with her. No, don't you be doing air quotes on me. This is a family program. And she told me once that I look like the conservative Chris Hayes. So there you go. Again, I think it's just because we're two white guys with fat faces and thick black glasses. Maddow's new.
Personally, I don't see it, but hey, what do I know?
What do I know? What do we know? Probably not a good thing to admit at the beginning of a talk radio program.
Hey, I'm just the humble producer. You're the one that's got to know things.
That's true. I'm the one that's supposed to carry the substance tonight. But look, as per usual, I have prepared more content for tonight than the CDC says is safe to fit into one program. But look, you assume the risk here. We have faith in you. Unlike the leftists that until recently dominated the federal government, right? If you want to wear one mask, no mask, 16 masks, you want to have some on your knees, a couple plastered to the side of your face, you knock yourself out. You make your own decisions. You're an adult. You should act like it, but be prepared because tonight's program is going to be content heavy, insightful, all the things, again, as Gen Z likes to say. And we'll be joined in the second of 3 hours, by Mario Kranjak. I don't know if that name means anything to most of you, but you may have heard that New Jersey has a gubernatorial election coming up this year in November. I talk about it incessantly because I do live in the dirty Jers,
And so I am even more invested than your average America First conservative activist in seeing the NJ flip from blue to red this cycle. I believe it's possible. Well, Mario is one of the many candidates that's running to succeed Phil Murphy in 2025. He's a former mayor from up in North Jersey. He was recently, I believe, let me double check this because we don't do fake news around here, right? We only believe in the honest to goodness truth, which is what we like to share with our audience. This isn't MSNBC. Yeah, Newt Gingrich formally backed Kranjak for mayor a few weeks ago, February 18th. So he's a substantial guy. Now, I have questions because he got into the race kind of late, but we want to know what his vision for New Jersey is. That's always the goal of the Matt Rooney Show, not to tell you what to think, but to expose you to information. You get my perspective. It's my show. So if you're tuning in, you do not want my opinion. I don't know why you're here. But also to have an intimate interaction with the folks that make policy, make decisions, shape our world, and in this case, want to lead one of the two states that dominates our listening area. It's one of the things I love about the radio medium. We're not dealing in sound bites here. They're going to come on and we're going to have a conversation. You're going to learn something about them for good or for ill. So Mario Kranjak joins us tonight in the second of our 3 hours here, probably around 8:15 p.m. I think that's what I put on the show sheet. And we're going to continue to talk to the gubernatorial hopefuls between now and the Republican primary in New Jersey on June 10th. We actually have something quite interesting coming up. I teased it last time we were here. We're having a Democrat on. Mayor Stephen Fulop of Jersey City. He's one of the leading Democrat candidates, if you believe the most recent poll in that particular contest. He's going to be joining us on, I believe it's April 6th. That's the Sunday. April 6th. I just looked.
I was going to say, you're looking at me.
Yeah.
I haven't been here for like a month. I don't.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, the Eagles hadn't won the Super Bowl yet.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it was the
since you were here?
NFC title game.
Oh, my goodness. It's a whole different world.
Crazy how much can change in a month.
A whole new world. It's been a whole new world. And since you've been here, the Eagles have accepted the invitation to the White House, right?
Yeah. I think they're scheduled to go April 28th.
That's coming up quick.
Oh yeah, that'll be here before we even know it.
Yeah, so a ton has gone down. So we're gonna speak to Republicans, obviously. We're going to speak to Democrats that have the I'm gonna again use a word, Justin, since when Dez isn't here, you're our official Latino representative here on the program, right? Those that have the cojones to come in here and talk to us on the left side of the aisle, any Democrat candidates for high office, we'll talk to them too. Because, and I actually had a few people complaining to me online, why are you having a Democrat on your show? Why are you having a leftist? I mean, first of all, what do you want? You just want to hear agreement 24/7, 365? Right? You just want to hear the same thing you can hear anywhere. That's not what we do here at 1210, right? Like, there's plenty of places you can go if you just want to have your worldview affirmed. Now, I am unapologetically a man of the right. That's no secret. But one of the things the left has robbed us of is the opportunity to have an honest-to-goodness, in-your-face conversation, right? Because whereas in decades gone by, Democrats believed in one thing, Republicans agreed or believed in another, and we would have it out in the public forum, and maybe at the end of the day there would still be disunity or a lack of harmony, but at least there was an honest debate in the public arena, right? Now, those discussions immediately get shut down. I propose a tax plan. They call it racist. I propose a new curriculum for the school system or a way to reform it. Somehow that's misogynistic. I say that, hey, maybe it's a good thing that a country has actual borders, which is one of the definitions of a country. If you look it up, somehow that's xenophobic. Their worldview makes it impossible to talk to other Americans. So if a Democrat is willing to come on this program and have a conversation, why wouldn't we do that? Right? Doesn't change what we believe, but we're going to challenge what they believe. Maybe we're going to be challenged a little bit, and we're all going to be stronger for it.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the other side thinks.
Yeah, you have to know what the other side is thinking.
Isn't there what's the Sun Tzu quote about it? Something about knowing your enemy better than you know yourself, or am I just making something up here?
No, it's something like that.
It's
yeah.
I distinctly think of it, but it's like you should know what the other side thinks, because then that gives you the ability to be able to combat it in the marketplace of ideas.
If that's right, that's 100% right, Justin. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. That's the quote.
There it is. I knew it was something, but
yes.
Nah.
And so that's what we do here on the Matt Rooney Show. We fight 100 little mini battles every week for the cause of truth and justice and the American way, right? Hat tip Superman. Again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Went a little long on the first segment, but I'm just so happy to be here. And when we come back, we will continue to kick this show off on the right note here on 1210 WPHT. Back in a second.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business?
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com.
Hey, it's Nick Cale, and I recently test drove the new Honda Prologue, Honda's first all-electric SUV. With a range of almost 300 miles on a single and fast charge, you can cruise the roads worry-free. It has 3 charging options, including a portable charging kit for when you're on the go. Lease the Prologue today for as low as $229 per month or 0% financing for 72 months. Visit Piazza Honda in Philadelphia, Pottstown, Springfield, Reading, or Langhorne for details, or shop online at piazzahonda.com and tell them Nick sent you.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair. No cutting in line. Play by the rules. Play by the rules.
Don't pick on the little kids.
It's important. It's the right thing to do.
It helps create the world we want to live in.
Well, there's something I need to tell you. Kids aren't the only ones that should be fair.
Mommies and daddies should be that way too.
Every time you go to the store, you have a chance to be fair.
To do the right thing.
To make a difference in someone else's life.
It's easy.
It's not expensive, and it makes a huge difference.
Just look for the Fair Trade certified label on products in the grocery store.
It means that farmers are getting a fair deal.
That their kids get to stay in school.
That they can look forward to a brighter future.
And we're getting great products that were grown with care.
Now that's fair.
It's good for our family.
It's good for our neighborhood.
It's good for the whole world.
Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more.
I'm glad we had this talk.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Must be some kind of way out of here. Said the Joker to the thief. There's too much confusion.
I can't get no relief. could easily be one of the members of Tren de Aragua lamenting their rush flight back across the border. Thanks to Donaldus Magnus. Matt Rooney back again on 1210 WPHT, The Matt Rooney Show. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Quick aside, Suze Loves Jeff. He says, Steven, are you on the Barry Sable program? Yes. Steve Packarduni, who is in the YouTube chat tonight, is indeed the Steve that is a regular co-host. I don't know what the right word is, Steve. Correct me over in the chat. You're kind of like the Ed McMahon to Barry Sable on the Barry Sable Show on Saturdays. Great program. Definitely check it out. So good to see Steve over there. And he's got some fans in the YouTube chat. He's good people. 855-839-1210. Yeah, that's right. We have a president, in case you've forgotten in the past 5 minutes, that actually does what he promised to do, which is one of the reasons why the ongoing hissy fit that we're watching on television, people keying Teslas and, coming up with weird chants in the streets about how Elon Musk is so mean, and, all Democrats deciding that somehow if they start cursing online, that's going to win back the middle class. Have you observed this, Justin?
It seems like an almost juvenile attempt to get back a voter base they lost purely through their own actions.
Yeah.
It seems like they've run out of ideas and they're just kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to hope that something sticks, but
that's what it is. And one of the worst offenders, right, is Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy is a United States Senator. I think he's an attorney. He's from Connecticut. And he's part of this Democrat, I don't know if you want to call it a movement, we'll call it a turn within the Democrat establishment, where they have decided that they're no longer going to pretend to be interested in having a conversation with the other 55% of the country. They're done, right? For years, we heard Democrats lament that Republicans were not being sufficiently interested in bipartisanship and working together when, of course, as they defined it, Republicans weren't rolling over for leftists. Finally, Donald Trump comes along and says, we're not going to roll over anymore. We're going to fight back for America. And obviously that's worked out so far pretty darn well for the GOP. The Country Club Republican Party was on the verge of extinction. Now Donald Trump has brought it back from the abyss by building a new coalition. So Democrats, as Justin's pointing out, they don't know how to deal with this. We've been talking about this a lot on the Matt Rooney Show, and something I've noticed in the last week is that one of the things that some Democrats have decided is a good idea is to just start swearing all the time. Now, I'm from New Jersey, right? I am not going to sit here and try to pretend like an F-bomb has never escaped past my lips, okay? It's actually remarkable, knock on wood. I've been on air as long as I have, and the FCC has not come knocking yet. It's very hard for a Jersey guy. If Zioli was here, he'd probably back me up on this. But with all of that being said, there's a time and a place, right? We don't want to overcourse in our culture. And also, there's something to be said for strategically placed swearing, right? To emphasize indignation, upsetness at an appropriate point, right? In a public debate or in a particular circumstance. When you're using it all the time, it loses its potency, right? F-bomb this, F-bomb that. You're not really communicating it anymore. You just look trashy. It's kind of like when they started calling everyone a diva. Do you remember that several years ago? Like if everybody's a diva, then,
Or when they were trying to force the label of weird onto Trump and JD.
Right.
It just kind of, like, you hear it enough time. It's like when somebody repeats a word so many times, you just don't, it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It just sounds like jumbled letters.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And so that's the point the Democrats have now reached. And Chris Murphy is a prime offender, as I said. He tweeted on March 14th, what was that? That was Friday. Hey, and this is just a tweet on X from a senator. Hey, I just got home. Tough effing day, right? And, of course, he didn't write effing, right? And then he talks about how he's going to go live on Instagram to talk about why he voted no on the government funding bill. Like why, right?
Goober.
Yeah, it's goober behavior. And, of course, everyone is just roasting him, not just for the substance of his tweet, right? It's ridiculous that you're this upset about essentially spending money, something the Democrats have no problem doing. Suddenly they care about good financial stewardship now that Donald Trump's in the White House. Give me a break. But also the idea that they think that they're so edgy and have a broader appeal simply because they're using potty words
It's
that
like,
would cause somebody's grandmother to put a bar of soap in their mouth.
It's like when you just start, like when you're a teenager, like 13, 14, and you finally start swearing, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, because it's cool.
Yeah, it's such dork behavior. Like,
Yeah.
it's what I'd expect from a 13-year-old who just like started swearing, just constantly repeating it. Ooh, look at me, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to. Ooh.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And that's the Democrat Party. It's run by children. Now, of course, surprise, surprise, this is not working for them at all, at least in the early going. Donald Trump continues to poll well, and as we're going to explore a little bit with a little bit more depth on the program tonight, the Democrat Party's polling is circling the drain. It's circling the drain. So Murphy appeared on Meet the Press, a very friendly forum for Democrats ordinarily, and was interacting with the host, her name's Kristen Welker, by the way, if you still watch any of the morning programs, or if you don't, now you know. She asked, I thought, a fair question, right? You know, why are you opposing this Republican continuing resolution, particularly in light of the fact that there's a new NBC poll, which we'll delve into more in a second, that shows the Democrat Party now with an all-time low approval rating. Listen to this exchange. It's extremely telling.
New NBC News poll, as you just saw, shows the Democratic Party at an all-time low approval rating. Why do you think Democrats are failing to connect with Americans at this critical moment of urgency, which you described?
Well, it's what I just talked about. I mean, I think Americans want the Democratic Party to stand up and fight and to take risks. Listen, I understand that had we gone into a shutdown, even for a handful of days, it would have been difficult. But it would have sent a message that the Democratic Party is not going to be bullied by Donald Trump. We are not going to let them write spending bills unilaterally that cut programs for people we care about, that give the president new and extraordinary power. I think Democrats in this country, but I think the broad middle of the public as well, want to see our party fighting in exceptional ways. That is the conversation that has to happen inside of the Democratic Party, inside our caucus. And if we don't get that right, if we continue to work with Republicans, if we continue to hand Donald Trump more power, we are going to lose our democracy.
Oh, to quote Michael Scott, what would he say? How the turntables?
How the turntables.
How the turntables, right? This is the Democrat Party that, as I already said, has spent years scolding Republicans for daring to stand up to them. Now, you have a United States Senator saying that the only way forward for the Democrat Party is to just oppose the Republican Party at all turns, regardless of the situation. They need to stop working with the other side of the aisle. This is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And one of the other things that's fascinating about this, in light of what I've already explained to you and what I've already pointed out for you, is that you have this United States Senator saying the Democrats need to be bold. They need to be fresh in their approach here. What is the fresh approach that I'm missing? Dropping F-bombs on X like a 14-year-old, as Justin Otero pointed out a moment ago?
Having 22 of your senators read ad verbatim the same script and doing the same motions in a conjoined effort to release all these same videos at the same time?
Right. Going out into the streets and saying F Donald Trump and chanting and gesticulating and making complete fools of themselves in defense of funding for transgender mice, right? For transing mice, for all of these other crazy priorities, trans operas in Colombia, wherever else we're wasting our money. That's what they want to go to the mat for. That's how they think they're going to reconnect with the American people. Defending public workers, right? Sure, there's some people out there in the federal government who are decent people, but let's be honest about this. If honesty is what we're after, and it always is, there are a lot of federal sponges in Washington, D.C., who've been working at home now for 4 years, earning a paycheck that you subsidize, ladies and gentlemen. You're the one that's funding that paycheck. And that's who the Democrat Party is finally willing to go to the mat for, to curse for, to debase themselves for. This is the path back that that this United States senator from Connecticut wants Democrats to tread. And they couldn't pick less sympathetic people. I was reading a CNN article the other day, which is always dangerous because it kills brain cells, but it's about the IRS. And this is the title of the article: Doge throws the IRS into turmoil at height of tax season. A current IRS employee says it's routine to see people crying in the office and managers apologizing for firings they had no decision in, because we're supposed to feel sorry for the IRS. Anyone know anyone that feels sorry for the IRS this time of year? Right? Do you see people at church lighting candles for the IRS? Our kids, do you remember when you're like a kid in UNICEF, you put the quarter in, you pass it around the classroom to raise money? Is anybody doing that for IRS employees? Is anyone sad that 87,000 Americans who were hired to audit their fellow Americans are now facing the unemployment line? I mean, let's get real. The only good news in all of this, and I've said it before, so I apologize for repeating myself. It's boorish, but it's important. I'm very divided because I want the Democrat Party to fail, because the Democrat Party in its current constitution failing is what's best for America. But there is part of me, and I hope that we eventually get there, but there is part of me that is extremely concerned that one of the two major parties in a two-party system is now this whacked out and detached from reality. That's not good. What needs to happen is the Democrat Party needs to collapse, and it needs to be replaced by something that's less insane. Either a version of what it used to be before the transformation that happened during the Clinton years, right? That's one option. Or maybe a new party, right, that shares some right-of-center beliefs, but also has some left-of-center beliefs. That'd be much healthier for our democracy. Simply opposing Donald Trump for the sake of opposing Donald Trump with petulant tweets, as the good senator from Connecticut is proposing as the future path forward for his party, it's antithetical to the health of a democracy. But what do I know? I'm just the host of the Matt Rooney Show. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Let's take a quick time out to play some ads, make some money, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies too. For affordable life insurance, call 800-529-2856.
As a combat wounded veteran, I know how hard it is to come home and build a meaningful life. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. When I was in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. A rocket-propelled grenade exploded right under my seat. Traumatic brain injury, a fractured pelvis, severe burns. They didn't think I was going to make it. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
With DAV on my side, I was able to pursue my dreams. If my story can touch a heart, it can change a life. My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
LaToya Lucas, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
I just love when we have these little punk Ivy League kids that aren't of Palestinian descent dressing up like they're playing pretend with the scarves and the headdress and all of that. Bobby from the main line, who all of a sudden thinks he's fighting the righteous cause, and he's an uneducated clown. Forget being deported or being arrested. These parents should be embarrassed. If I ever catch my kid in college protesting on behalf of Gaza, they're not even going to have time to flunk out. I'm going to drive down and pull them out.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
I teased it before the break. I said it on X, too. You heard Kristen Welker mention it when she was talking to Senator Chris F. Bob Murphy on Meet the Press this morning. The latest polling for Democrats is atrocious. Atrocious. Right? Some of you have been divorced, could have gotten a higher approval rating out of your former spouse on the day you finalized it in front of a judge. Right? There are people right now warring in the Middle East that would give a higher approval rating to the other side than you could get out of some Americans for the Democrat Party in 2025. These polls are in the basement. I'm gonna share this with you because you need to know. And I'm not giving you this polling data simply because it's great radio, even though it is. It's fun to watch the bad guy suffer, right? But also, we know what the media is going to do, and even though at this point you've been red-pilled and you know better, they're trying to convince you that everyone hates Donald Trump and Elon Musk, that people are becoming upset that all these IRS agents are going to lose their jobs and they're not going to be able to audit you this year, that there's all these worthy causes that are not going to be funded. The trans mice are going to starve to death, right? They're not going to be able to survive, those little his, him, zer, whatever the heck they are, little fellas. I just gendered them. I'm sorry.
Now you've got to repent.
Now I've got to repent, right? Ugh. You know, that's what they want you to believe, but it's not true. And I'm gonna give you evidence from two liberal networks. Let's start with cut number 6. This is NBC. Shoot.
First of all, the mood of the country. This really jumped out. We asked folks, is it on the right direction or the wrong direction? That 44% you say right direction, that's up since November. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, the last time it cracked 40%, you got to go back to 2012. The last time it actually hit 44 or higher, January of 2004. So a lot of this is Republicans, but independents, that number is also up since the election on the direction of the country.
Wow, that really has to hurt, right? The height of George W. Bush's popularity, when Barack Obama was about ready to secure a second term, that's the last time this many Americans thought the country was heading in the right direction. Brutal. Brutal for Team Donkey. And it's not just NBC that has found that Americans have newfound optimism concerning the direction of their country. This is Cut 7. Let's pivot over to CNN, which is still amazingly on air. It was an open question after the election whether they would still be broadcasting or whether it would be turned into a new shopping network or something like that. But look what CNN found.
Good morning. Welcome Inside Politics Sunday. I'm Manu Raju. First up this morning, a brand new exclusive CNN poll that paints a brutal reality for Democrats as they struggle to mount a unified opposition to President Trump. Americans' favorable views of the Democratic Party's brand are at a record low, just 29%. That's compared to 36% for Republicans. It is the lowest ever recorded for Democrats in CNN polling going back more than 30 years. As you can see, the party's numbers dropping a staggering 20 points in just 4 years. The CNN SRSR's poll also found 57% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning voters are more interested in seeing their party leaders stop the GOP agenda, compared to 42% who are more interested in cutting bipartisan deals. It is a big shift from where the party stood at the start of Trump's first term in 2017. Now, this survey was taken before this week's tumultuous battle over funding the government, which resulted in one of the ugliest intra-party Democratic disputes in years, and left many in the party lobbying furious attacks at Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, who ultimately reversed course and let a GOP bill funding the government become law in order to avert a shutdown. Now a bitter round of finger-pointing is taking shape after Democrats failed to get a single concession from the GOP, despite having their first piece of leverage to fight back against Trump. Now the big question, where does a party in deepening turmoil and in open warfare go from here?
Actually, the more appropriate laugh is, oh, God. I love it. I love every bit of this. I'm living for it. But let's back up for a second, okay? I want to look at the CNN poll. And they conducted this March 6th and 9th, so this is pretty darn recent, right? Stop the GOP agenda. This is what they asked Democrats and Democrat-leaning voters. Back in 2017, the start of Trump's first term, 23%, okay? Now, 57%. Work with the GOP. 74% back in 2017. Only 42% now, right? That is the opposite of where you just heard independents and Republicans now find themselves. No surprise to find Republicans there, but unaffiliated and independent voters who usually are the deciding factor in American elections like what they're seeing. They are enjoying what they're hearing, or at least, let's be as careful as we can about this, they prefer it to what they've endured over the course of the prior 4 years. A president who was incontinent, incompetent, who was completely unable to lead, and probably also unwilling to lead. He was a weak man, always was, even before he lost his marbles, right? And we saw what that resulted in. That resulted into the most precipitous decline in American authority, power, influence here and abroad that we've witnessed in the post-World War II era of global geopolitics, right? That's now over, and a majority of Americans are extremely happy about that. So, you gotta go back again to the last segment here this hour with Senator Chris Murphy, who says, because he's one of the most outspoken Trump critics right now in his party, that despite what the polls say, that Americans want Democrats to stand up to Donald Trump. Who are these Americans? Who are they? I mean, I can tell you, right, who they are. It's, I guess, trannies, right, cross-dressing and reading books to children in libraries. It's, I guess, illegal aliens who are being deported, who they're counting even though they don't vote in most places, right, at least if we can stop it in time before Democrats let it happen. It's educated white women right? Educated, air quotes. Starbucks drinkers in their yoga pants who went to college to receive $70,000 a year degrees in Eastern handpan music and, the social justice approach to sea lizards, and are now complaining that somehow life is unfair, right? Because Donald Trump's in office and he wants to, in some way, obstruct their access to killing their own young, right? There's people around the world that can't get a meal, but the fact that, Donald Trump doesn't want to pay for free abortion, somehow that's an affront to their liberty. This is the Democrat coalition in 2025. This is who these people are. Can I put a fine point on it here for a second? They're freaks. They're losers, right? They're people who have completely aberrant values, and we have to stop dignifying their wants and desires, freakish inclinations, and completely petulant hissy fits as if they're anything other than they are. The sad, hopefully last gasps of a political movement which has no place in a free country. These are not good people, right? Chris Murphy says he doesn't want Democrats doing business with us. Let's talk about who we are, right? We are business people. We are small business people, large business people. We are white. We are black. We are brown. We are men. We are women. We all know what gender we are, right? We don't agree on everything in the Trump coalition, but we can tell, all right, you got bait and tackle, you're a man. If you don't, you're a woman, right? We generally believe in God. Maybe we worship him in different ways, and that's fine. But we believe, as most Americans have throughout the years, that there is a higher power. And I'll tell you what right now, folks, you don't want to deal with people that don't believe that there isn't something above them because there's no regulating authority on them. We believe in America. We believe in free markets. We believe that people and communities can accomplish more for people and communities than a centralized, fat and happy government can. These are the things that unite the Trump coalition, which is getting broader and broader all the time. Meanwhile, these misfits that I'm mentioning in the Democrat coalition, they're increasingly on an island. They are the polar bear on the iceberg in the melting sea that they love to show you, right? That's them. And it ain't because of global warming. It's because of the pure crappiness of their own ideas that the American people now, not just in theory, don't work. They just saw over the course of the 4 years of Biden-Harris that these ideas are a disaster for America. And not just for America. Trump has said it repeatedly, right? The Ukraine would have never been invaded to begin with. We wouldn't be having this discussion about peace in Eastern Europe because there wouldn't be a war to begin with had we had a president who had been capable of deterring Vladimir Putin as Trump did during his first term in office.
Instead, all we got was Weekend at Bernie's with a man who's more focused on being on Rehoboth Beach and eating chocolate chip ice cream than protecting our interests at home and abroad.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, back to my original premise. I should be happy that this is the fate that the Democrat Party is choosing for itself, right? But I sure hope something better comes out of it. Because this country's healthier when both parties are not completely insane. In the short term, Democrats have a problem. And they need to recognize that the Chris Murphys of the world clearly don't have the answers, right? Not in the slightest. They're going down a path that is going to put them in a hole from which they're going to have trouble emerging in 2026 or in 2028 unless they reverse course now. They may not like to hear it from their old pal Matt because I'm not on their team, but I never lie. You can say a lot of things about me, but I ain't a liar. 855-839-1210 is the number over on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like if you can. 1 hour already behind us, but we still have 2 full hours left to go. We'll be joined in the next hour by former Mayor Mario Kranjak, one of the Republicans who wants to be the next governor of New Jersey. I've got questions for him. I'm sure you do too. If you have them, leave them over in the YouTube chat or tweet them at me over on X. Matt Rooney NJ is my handle. But that's it for me for the next few minutes. We're going to take a break. I'm going to refill my coffee, and then we'll be back with more on 1210 WPHT in a moment.
Talk Radio 1210's 8th Annual Radiothon, benefiting the Travis Manion Foundation, presented by Edelman's Coins, is this Friday, March 21st. Listen from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. for special guests, surprises, and fun, and help the Travis Manion Foundation empower veterans and families of the fallen, and unite the community through service. Listen all day this Friday on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Thanks to our sponsors, Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer, Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. Hoffman's Exterminating, providing quality service with personalized care for over 35 years. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Call Oliver for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Thousands turn out for the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade in Philadelphia. The first photo of Pope Francis emerges since his hospitalization. Hundreds of alleged gang members are deported to El Salvador despite a federal judge temporarily blocking the Trump administration order.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people. But anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Christopher Cruz. The death toll from a weekend of terrible storms that have ripped through the central, southern, and southeastern regions of the U.S. is now 37. In Missouri alone, 12 people were killed. KOLR-TV reporter Carissa Codell is in Bakersfield in southern Missouri on the Arkansas border.
I think people were in shock about what had happened, the homes that were lost, the lives that were lost.
Homes torn apart in Bakersfield after a powerful tornado barreled through the rural area. Superintendent of the Bakersfield School District, Amy Paget, says she immediately started getting calls from people in the community wanting to help.
We just are so blessed at the outpouring of support that we've had and the donations just from not only businesses but just people off the street in surrounding communities.
Wildfires have destroyed at least 200 homes in Oklahoma over the past few days. KWTV reporter Jordan Fremstad is in Oklahoma City.
It's devastating. Morgan Mayhew stares through the frame of the life she once had. She wasn't home at the time because she was supporting someone else.
I was actually at a funeral.
Her home's walls are no more.
Put a lot that we love into that home.
Only memories remain. Neighbor Vanessa Hurt watched 2 homes go up in flames as firefighters clashed with unfair conditions.
The response was just amazing.
Lee Wyndham says this community is there for them.
We're going to stand behind these people and lift a hand or offer a room or whatever it takes.
Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says he lost a home in the fires. There's good news about Pope Francis. CBS's Nancy Chen has that.
We are seeing Pope Francis for the first time since he was admitted to the hospital more than a month ago. The 88-year-old celebrating Mass inside Gemelli Hospital in Rome. He is still battling lung and breathing issues, but doctors say his condition is no longer critical.
American fighter jets today shot down about 11 drones launched by Houthi rebels in Yemen. The rebel group also launched a ballistic missile toward an American aircraft carrier, but it fell well short of the ship. CBS's Willie James Inman says Pentagon officials are preparing to follow up on the U.S. attack on the Yemeni capital on Saturday.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says attacks on ships in international waters in the Red Sea by Iran-backed Houthi rebels must end.
The minute the Houthis say, we'll stop shooting at your ships, we'll stop shooting at your drones, this campaign will end. But until then, it will be unrelenting.
Police believe pyrotechnics that were set off inside a nightclub in a town in North Macedonia caused a horrific fire. At least 59 people were killed, more than 150 injured. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine cleaner. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
If you're going to be in Spain soon, you just might get a chance to ride in a driverless bus.
Renault is testing a new driverless minibus in Barcelona this week. The autonomous vehicle is running on a circular route of just under 1.5 miles with 4 stops. The French car maker unveiled the driverless bus at the French Open venue last year, but is now testing it on the open road in Barcelona. It also has testing in France and at the Zurich airport. City officials in Barcelona say they've had no reports of accidents caused by the experimental bus. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Tomorrow's a big day for some Americans of Irish descent. It's St. Patrick's Day, of course, when the patron saint of Ireland is celebrated. St. Patrick's Day observances happen wherever in the world there are people with connections to Ireland, but the biggest celebration is in the U.S., where there are parades and the eating and drinking of green foods. In Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is a national holiday. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Are you concerned about age-related macular degeneration, or AMD? If you're over 50, then you should be. AMD impacts as many as 1 in 10 Americans over 50, severely impacting your vision and robbing you of your ability to drive, read, and enjoy the vibrant beauty of life. Now, protecting your eyes is easier thanks to New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements. Specifically formulated to improve eye health, New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements not only protect your eyes, but help improve night vision, as well as helping to relieve eye fatigue caused by digital devices. Only New Nordic uses wild Swedish blueberries because of their superior concentration of color pigments, which are vital to eye function and health. New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements are Scandinavia's #1 selling natural eye formula. But now you can find them at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. Enjoy healthy vision with New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements. Available now at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
More winning tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Not just because you're listening to the Matt Rooney Show on 1210 WPHT. That's always a win. But once again, Donald Trump, our glorious president, and King Elon, right? That's what the Democrats call him. King Elon, doing what Joe Biden not only couldn't but wouldn't, rescuing NASA astronauts. This is huge. So, the crew, right, has now united, I guess, with this SpaceX Dragon capsule. I think that's what it's called. It docked with the space station at 12:04 a.m. on Sunday. And a SpaceX capsule has now delivered 4 astronauts to the International Space Station, right? And we're going to bring home these American heroes that have been trapped on that station for how long now? How long have they been up there? A long darn
like
time.
8 months, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's been quite some time. Don't you lose bone density or something when you're in space?
I know.
For a long period of time?
There's a bunch of I think is it your spine compresses or decompresses, and there's like potential back issues that come from extended stays in space. There's some health issues that come from like an overwhelmingly long extended stay in space, which these astronauts have been in space
Yeah.
for an overwhelmingly extensive period of time.
Yeah.
Mangelmush, 9 months.
Is that how long it's been?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, those are the 2 NASA astronauts, will soon be home. And it's thanks to Elon. It's thanks to Elon. They've been doing scientific research. They were doing some routine maintenance. And, well, who did they choose to thank? It wasn't Joe Biden. It wasn't Kamala Harris. It wasn't the federal government or U.S. aid. It wasn't the Democrat Party or Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut. Let's listen to this new video from the now rescued astronauts.
We're coming back before long, so, don't make all those plans without me. We'll be back before too long.
I can tell you at the outset, all of us have the utmost respect for Mr. Musk, and obviously respect and admiration for our President of the United States, Donald Trump. We appreciate them. We appreciate all that they do for us, for human spaceflight, for our nation. And we're thankful that they are in the positions they're in.
We're thankful that they're in the positions that they're in.
Biden's the reason why they were up there, so he politicized that they were up there. I'm not surprised they're thankful to Elon and President Trump.
Oh, well, 100%. I mean, that alone should have been disqualifying, right? That Biden was stopping Elon Musk from rescuing these astronauts for political reasons. And lest we forget, Kamala Harris, future governor of California, wasn't she the director of the White House Space Commission or some nonsense like that? They made up a title for her.
She was too busy worrying about when she was gonna Uber Eats her next bag of nacho cheese Doritos.
Well, she was very busy also focusing on her other fake job as border czar, overseeing the largest scale invasion of America from the southern border since Santa Ana, right? Like, I mean, it's I'm just glad we finally have people that care about this country. And it's one of the things that drives me nuts about all of the hatred directed at Elon Musk. Like, is he kind of a strange bird? Of course he is, right? Like, geniuses are always weird, right?
Yeah, he's from South Africa. They got some weird things going on.
You're right. He's a strange guy from a strange place. He's got all these kids by all these different women, but I'll tell you what he's got going for him that most Democrats don't. He believes in this country ferociously, and he has taken the only person that's taken more slings and arrows has been President Trump at this point, right? Elon Musk has sacrificed billions of dollars. He's another guy that could have a very easy life, a very fun and easy life, if he wasn't dedicated to the project of saving this country and turning it around. And also, on the space front, everyone that knows him, I don't know him, but everyone that knows him personally says that he is serious about advancing humanity beyond our little third rock from the sun here so that our species can continue on. Because at some point, a giant asteroid, the likes of which destroyed the dinosaurs, is going to smash into this planet. Could be in 20 years. It could be in 20,000 years. It's going to happen at some point, right? So unless humans are all over the galaxy at that point with little cute colonies and spaceships to jet back and forth, we're cooked, right? It's the most human thing of all to explore and to expand and try to advance our species, right? Whether it's crossing an ocean or, in this case, traversing the stars. So all of the anger that is directed at Elon Musk, people burning Tesla dealerships and keying Teslas and hating on this guy for rooting out fraud and corruption for free. He's doing it for free. He's not a paid consultant like all of the other slugs that have been mooching off of us in Northern Virginia for God knows how long, for practically ever, right? It actually makes me angry for Elon Musk. And here's just another example. The guy's doing good stuff. Why has he earned your hatred? Why does he deserve to be hated? There's no rational explanation for it, Justin, other than the fact that it's ideological, once again, right? And also pecuniary. There are people who benefit, and I know this hurts some of you to hear it, that benefit from the corrupt status quo. Not just a small cabal in Washington, D.C., but tens of thousands of people spread all over the country. They're very much concentrated in the D.C. metro area, but they're all over the place. They're in Trenton. They're in Harrisburg. They make a living off of your tax dollars being misappropriated. They make their living off of government having completely screwed up priorities that are financed by that garnishment from your paycheck every 2 weeks. Elon is disrupting that. That's why they hate the guy. But you just heard it from those astronauts. They're glad that Donald Trump and Elon now occupy those positions. I am too. How could you not be? Unless you're stupid or evil or on the take or a little bit of all three. There's kind of, well, one of Kamala's favorite thing is a Venn diagram. The stupid, evil, on the take Venn diagram. There's a big space in the middle of commonality, right? So there you go. It's a big hour here on the Matt Rooney Show. Plenty to cover. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to talk about the deportations of dangerous gang members back to South and Central America by the Trump administration. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. It warmed my heart to hear about it earlier today. And we're also going to be joined momentarily by former mayor from New Jersey, Mario Kranjak. Mario Kranjak is one of the Republicans that is running to succeed Phil Murphy this year as governor of the great Garden State. He announced his campaign mere weeks ago. He's one of, if not the newest entrant into the gubernatorial sweepstakes in New Jersey this year. So we obviously want to get to know him. We want you to get to know him. So if you are voting in the Dirty Jers this year like I am, you can make an informed decision. And of course, we'll talk about whatever it is that pops to the forefront of my mind, because it's my show and that's how it works. We talk about what interests me. If it also interests you, that's an added bonus. But that's how it works, folks. Remember, 855-839-1210 is our number. Over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT is where you can not only watch the program, but also participate in the chat. Looks like we've got Mangle talking about pumpkin gift bags. Sometimes it's dangerous when I'm on the radio, when I'm focusing on the show, and then I go back and I'm like, hold on, what are we talking about here? Why are there pumpkin gift bags? Where did this discussion go? Sue says, woot Musk. I agree. Woot Elon Musk. We're lucky to have that man. And he deserves to be defended. He's doing good work. And then Uncle Sam says, let's get to work on the transporter, Energize. That is a reference to Star Trek for all you Trekkies out there. There were so many things that I thought we would have by 2025. You know, being a child of the 80s and 90s, the number one thing that I was promised but have not yet seen is a flying car. Loved Back to the Future. Remember going to see it in the theater. I want my flying car. I'm not sure with the quality of driver that I've seen on the road lately, flying cars would necessarily be a good thing, but it would be a fun thing, at least initially. And I'll tell you what, if anybody's going to give it to us, it's going to be Elon. Eventually, there will be a flying Tesla, and I will sell one of my 2 kidneys, if they're still working at that point, to buy one. There's a little doubt about that.
Just got to have optimism.
Got to have optimism. Well, isn't that one of the things, too, that defines the right when juxtaposed with the left in 2025? There's such miserable, pessimistic people, right? Elon Musk, Donald Trump, these are people that, as we say, we that we've talking about it right now. They believe in America, but believing in America is believing in a system that gives people the opportunity to accomplish amazing things. That's really what it is when you distill it down to its most fundamental level, right? The beauty of this country is you can use your freedom to accomplish really cool outcomes for yourself, for your country, your community, your family, your friends, your business, whatever it is. That's not what the left believes. They're almost kind of like, for those of you that ever studied theology at one point or another, you know, the Calvinists, right, who believe in predestination or believed in predestination. There aren't a lot of Calvinists running around today. At least that's not what they call themselves, right? But believe in predestination. It's almost kind of how the left is in 2025, that the world is just hopelessly divided into aggressors and people that are transgressing against others' rights and people that are victims, and you can't really rise above your victimhood. And it's this dark, dank, ugly, violent Hobbesian existence where your fate is your fate. If you're a victim, you're always going to be a victim. And if you're one of the, you know, rich, white Elon Musk type people, then you're always going to be on top oppressing other people. And that's just the state of nature. It's again, fundamentally depressing and sad. Who the hell would want to believe in that?
Nobody
Nobody
willingly would want to believe in that. It's just, it seems like the Democrats will always break it down to you being a statistic, or you being like, or you just, there's always got to be something wrong. Nothing can ever be, you can never be hopeful, you can never be proud, you can never be optimistic, like we've been saying, about the direction that you want to take the country. And no, everything has to be this Orwellian hellscape that only the Democrat Party can save you from. Everything else besides us is bad, is evil, is chaotic. You don't want that. Trust us. We are all knowing. We are all powerful. Trust me. You can believe in us. I don't understand how you can willingly subject yourself to following that sort of ideology without wanting to just run your head through a brick wall at least 25 times a day.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the answer to your question is because it's tough to step into this mindset since it's not ours. I guess some people have never known anything else, right? I was born into a family that believes this, and I was born and raised and told from the time I was young that I'm a victim, and it's just become what I'm comfortable with. It's almost like a religion. Sometimes leftism can be best understood as a religion, something that is in a series of articles of faith. It's not something that's tested by actual logic and fact and reality, right? That's part of it. I think the good news is that people are waking up. People are waking up. The 2024 election is proof positive of that, because I think at the end of the day, as persuasive as Democrats are with convincing so many people that they're victims, most people, to your point, Justin, I don't want to put words in your mouth, they don't want to be. There's something uncomfortable about it.
It seems like they need to read The Allegory of the Cave by Plato and see how that kind of hits a little close to home for them.
Perhaps. Well, but see, they didn't study the classics in college, right? If they studied classical philosophy, classic literature, then some of that would hit home because it would be something that they have on the shelf in their library at home, right? But that's not what's being taught in our colleges in 2025. Our institutions of higher learning are focusing on social justice, right? And social justice is, if nothing else, the religion of victimization. So they're not learning what they need to learn. They don't have a ladder from which to emerge from the cave, right? Or a flashlight, I guess, would be the better way to describe it. What a world we're living in. But it's a world full of hope. We are optimists here. We are optimists here on 1210 WPHT. Again, 855-839-1210 is our number. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. Should we take a break? Play some ads and make some money?
Take a quick break.
Let's do that. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more of the optimistic Matt Rooney Show in just a moment.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about replacing my windows and doors with Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding for years now. If you're thinking about redoing your siding, right now is the perfect time. If you notice any wear and tear, mold, buckling, or peeling, that indicates your home is being exposed to the elements. Many people don't realize siding is not just for curb appeal, it also acts as a protective barrier against the harsh weather of all seasons. Whether you want fiber cement siding or vinyl siding, Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding carries only the highest quality brands, such as James Hardie and CertainTeed. Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding also goes the extra mile to work with you on the different styles and options that best fit your home, and they complete every project with care and precision. Experience the Chapman difference today. Call or text 610-431-8898, 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-488-1329. That's 800-488-1329.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Ever feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Hey, Hatboro. Tell your smart speaker deployed. 1210 WPHT.
I didn't even mind how gray it was this weekend. The only thing that's bothering me is that the trees are once again trying to kill me. I've got the sniffles. That allergy-induced congestion that comes about this time of year. And it's such a shame, right? Because you want to enjoy outdoors so much, and yet you pay for it so dearly. The life is full of these contradictions, right? You love to have a drink, but if you have too many, you get hungover, right? You enjoy eating that delicious greasy meal that's one of your favorites, but then you pay for it with heartburn at 3:00 in the morning. These things multiply with age. You're still just a babe, Justin. So other than caffeine,
I can go hog wild.
You can go hog wild. But that time will soon end.
Oh, I know it's coming. It's creeping up.
Enjoy it. Young hearts be free tonight, as the great Rod Stewart once sang. Matt Rooney on the Matt Rooney Show, joined this week by one of my faves, producer Justin Otero, filling in for producer Dan Valdez, who is God knows where. I think he's actually traveling for work. Yeah, that's him. I think he's traveling for work, or at least that's what he told me. He's probably cheating with another host. You know, but instead of like lipstick on his collar, it's like I see he's got like headphone indentation on his head the next time I see him. Who have you been producing for? You tramp. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Let's get to our guest. We're excited to talk to him. As I said at the beginning of the program, being a Jersey guy, running a website called SaveJersey.com, I'm a little invested in this whole election 2025 thing that's happening on my side of the Delaware River. It's an opportunity to finally turn this state around, right? We have an opportunity, the first such opportunity we've had in a generation. So with Phil Murphy, King Philip the Unaccountable, as our friend Rizzioli calls him, mercifully term limited, you've got about 3,000 Democrats and about 500 Republicans, right? That's the approximate ratio, trying to win an opportunity to live at Drumthwacket for 48 years and to lead the Garden State forward. So I've made it my mission, after helping moderate the first Republican debate about a month ago, to speak to as many of the gubernatorial candidates as we can. Now, we're talking to the Republican candidates. That's obviously a little bit easier for a conservative radio station, right, to pull off. The Democrats are a little bit tougher because most of them are, and I want to be nice about this, little cowards, right? Now, one of them, Stephen Fulop, I got to give the guy credit, probably because he's a former Marine, is coming on the show April 6th, the mayor of Jersey City. We're looking forward to speaking with him. This week, we have a former Republican mayor. He served Englewood Cliffs up in North Jersey. He term limited himself to 2 terms. He's an attorney. He is a successful businessman. And he, I guess maybe just about 6 weeks ago now, it hasn't been that long, decided to throw his hat in the ring and formally return to politics and decide that announce, I should say, that he's going to seek the Republican nomination. He joins, as I said, a somewhat crowded field of candidates who are already very much engaged in this effort to try to secure the GOP nomination. But something that's worth noting before we speak to Mario here, because I want to give you a little context. I'm assuming you're not following the race as closely as I am. All the polls show there is still a large number of undecideds. One recent poll suggested that 40% of Republican voters in New Jersey still don't know who they're voting for. So with that by way of introduction, former Mayor Mario Kranjak joins us tonight on the Matt Rooney Show. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming on.
Good evening, Matt, and thank you for having me back, and thank you, Justin, also.
We're happy to have you. And Justin just gave you the double thumbs up, not just a 1 thumb up, but a 2 double thumb up, which is really a rare thing around here for him to do that. So let's talk brass tacks here. You announced that you're running for governor. I think it was the beginning of February. And since that time, there's been some excitement around your candidacy. You got endorsed by a man I respect very much. I think most of our listening audience does. Former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, not just a great leader of the Republican Party, but also, if you've never checked out any of his books, folks, he's an ace historian. He's written some of his books are almost better than The Contract with America. It's really good stuff. But there's no doubt about it, Mario, you have a very short runway here. So let's kick things off here by getting to the heart of the matter. What separates you, and what do you think you bring to the race that's unique that we're not already getting from Bill Spadio or Jack Ciattarelli or Ed Durr or John Baramnik?
Well, actually, I have a track record of beating the Democrats and the Democrat machines. We had a mayor in Englewood Cliffs, and he and his son were mayors for 42 years, and I beat them. And then I got reelected. And no one has ever done that. And I could do it at the state level. But more importantly, while I was mayor, I kept all my promises. I kept all high-density housing out of Englewood Cliffs as long as I was mayor. We had not one single unit. I was litigated, persecuted, prosecuted, sanctioned, censured. I drove the jackboot judges crazy, and rightfully so. We need to stop that in New Jersey. And I also cut taxes. and kept them the same every year without cutting services. I removed corruption. We had an Englewood Cliffs Doge before we called it an Englewood Cliffs Doge or a New Jersey Doge or a federal Doge. We cut all the extra non-necessary expenses that taxpayers get so ripped off of day in, day out. And most importantly, I actually kept CRT, critical race theory, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and social and emotional learning out of our schools, despite Governor Murphy mandating that they be in there and our corrupt state legislature demanding that they be in there. And again, I'm the only mayor in America who sent BLM a bill for police overtime. So of all the candidates out there running for governor, at the end of January, I was talking to Newt and others in the Trump administration, and it was determined that 47% of voters in the primary are still undecided. And that was not my poll. That was somebody else's poll. So we saw a lane to capture this, to save New Jersey, and as you're doing, and to also make New Jersey great again. So we're well on our way. We've only been at it for 6 weeks. They've built a lot of momentum in our movement. And I do call us a movement because I'm not a politician. We're a movement. We're not a moment. There's people in this race who've been running for 9 years. There's people in this race who never managed anything. They've been on the radio. They've been in the legislature. They're part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. I've got Newt behind me, and Newt's never wrong. And what I always ask people when I speak to them, and I've been speaking to groups every single day for the last couple of weeks, is who do you think is actually going to do what they say they're going to do? We all say a lot of the same things, maybe except Bramnick. He's off on his own on the left side. But we all pretty much say the same things. But I actually did all that, and I will do it again. And I always said, you can't fix America without fixing its towns, and you can't fix America without fixing its states. I fixed Englewood Cliffs. I got rid of all the corruption and nonsense. And I was sticky enough that another Republican took over after I self-imposed 2 terms, which unfortunately for our taxpayers and citizens in New Jersey, politicians are not term limited except for the governor's office. And we would have a much better state if politicians could only serve 2 terms in their offices, and if judges return to their lanes at the state level and stop pretending that they're an executive, that they're a mayor, that they're a planning board, that they're a legislature. Our judges have gone awry. We need to actually have substantial judicial reform. So much of the problems that we all face in New Jersey come from our judges just acting as if though they were more than judges. And you're seeing it also at the federal level, where you have district court judges at the federal level appointed by Barack Obama and Joe Biden, trying to frustrate the policies of Donald Trump. And, you know, while we're talking about President Trump, I mean, we've always been aligned. I've always been aligned with him, to the point where the Star Ledger would call me the Trumpy mayor of Englewood Cliffs. This is before all the other candidates in the governor's race decided that they needed to jump on that bandwagon after they blasphemed the president. I've always been a supporter of the president, and the president's policies are what's good for America, and what we need to do is have those policies enacted in the state of New Jersey. And the president needs a governor to work with. He doesn't have to worry about whether or not the governor is going to support him. You know,
let's talk about
right
what
now,
that looks like, because you're gonna talk about the state budget. Because let me back up even further. Doing what I do with Save Jersey and with this radio show, I'm constantly asked, well, Matt, to your point, Mayor, who's actually going to do what they're promising they're going to do? With the exception of John Bramnick, the senator from Union County, all of the candidates are saying that they are the Trump candidate, that they are going to fulfill President Trump's America First vision here in New Jersey. But who's actually going to improve our lives? Who's actually going to put New Jersey first? So let's say you win. Right? You go ahead, you win the Republican primary, you defeat Mikey Sherrill or Steve Fulop or whoever it's going to be, and you are sworn into office in January 2026. Where do you start? For example, with the state budget, what does America First look like under Governor Kranjak concerning New Jersey's budget, which is now up, what is it, double from what it was when Chris Christie left office?
Yes, it's about $58 billion right now. It should be closer to $40 billion. And so on day one, we end a sanctuary state status in all respect for abortion and also for illegal aliens. We basically restored the rule of law. The criminals go back to jail. We're not going to have them roaming the streets with unlawful firearms, shooting police officers. We cut the taxes, and I'll come back to that point in a minute. We cut our taxes substantially. I think every property owner in New Jersey is paying about 2 times as much as they should be, at least, for their property taxes. Because they're in the system, the government knows where to find them, and the government knows that they're going to pay whatever bill comes through their mail because they have to in order to maintain their property. We're going to cut all that. We're going to bring industry back to New Jersey, and we're going to have public-private partnerships for New Jersey Transit and fix that decrepit rail system and bus system as well. New Jersey taxpayers pay too much and get too little. Speaking of the unlawful firearms, that 14-year-old who's shot and killed the 26-year-old police detective in Newark.
And they won't try him as an adult.
That's a tragedy. He should be tried as an adult. And every adult, because there are a lot of adults involved who provided that child with that weapon, they need to be prosecuted as well. I attended the funeral for the police officer on Friday in Newark, and I sat in the middle of all the people who ruined New Jersey. I was with Murphy. I sat right behind him. I sat next to McGreevy. I sat behind Cheryl, Booker, Baraka, and my favorite target is Platkin because he'd rather spend time prosecuting and persecuting President Trump than actually enforcing laws and keeping us safe. So all those people have made us incredibly unsafe. And so they're all talking to each other, and they're all saying, how could this possibly happen? And I let the cat out of the bag because they didn't know who I was. I said, it's your policies. You guys caused all this. You have to stop this. You have to stop pandering to that left-wing progressive craziness. And, of course, nobody talked to me after that, and that was fine. We were there for a funeral, and my condolences go out to that family and also to the police officer who's still in the hospital as of Friday, who's injured. So we need to restore the rule of law. When I was mayor, we didn't shut down Englewood Cliffs during COVID. And, I used to ask Governor Murphy during these phone calls once a week that he would have with mayors, how is it that you could actually go hand in hand with Gurbeet Grewal, who was the Attorney General at the time, to all these BLM protests, hand in hand, arm in arm, hugging each other? You're not locked down. You're at these protests, but you're trying to lock down the rest of the state. It's just unconscionable. Of course, I was kind of thrown out of those meetings pretty quickly, but it's just such a craven arrogance that has destroyed the state of New Jersey, and we need to bring it back. I feel I'm the only candidate, and I know I'm the only candidate who's qualified to do it. I'm an attorney. I passed the CPA exam. I run businesses. I'm the only one who was elected to an executive position as mayor and did really, really well. I'm the only one who could do that. And I'm also the only one who's capable of doing that because I'm not beholden to all the money that the others have taken or the county chairmen that run the campaigns of some of the other candidates. So I'm free to do what I say I'm willing to do. I'm not beholden. And that's why they're so afraid of me, that they're so afraid that I would become governor, that they actually changed the signature requirement at about the same time I was declaring my candidacy. They raised it from 1,000 signatures to 2,500 signatures. So it's typical New Jersey. Change the rules of the game as you're playing the game. But, rather than...
People can't believe me outside of New Jersey when I tell them that story, that New Jersey is so corrupt that we already have an election underway, a primary underway, and the legislature goes and changes the number of signatures required in the middle of the game. I mean, can you imagine in the middle of a football game, a basketball game, any type of anything in life, where all of a sudden you just move the actual goal? Yeah, exactly right. Now you have to kick it 50 yards to get the field goal
So I'm not
instead of 40.
I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to litigate. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to get the 2,500 signatures. We're going to get to where we need to be to get on the ballot. And then when I am governor, we're going to look and see what actually happened. And then in all things New Jersey, just follow the money and see how that happened. And those people will be out of a job or out of a position. We'll elect other people to do a proper job and stop changing the rules of the game as we play the game.
Now, on the subject of money, are you going to be able to raise the money? Let's give everyone who's not from our state the context. We don't have a unified media market in New Jersey, unfortunately. You're on a Philadelphia station right now, which covers the southern half of the state. Then there's New York, right, the other media market up north. They happen to be two of the most expensive media markets in the country. Our audience is now getting to know you, Mayor, but many people in New Jersey don't know you. Are you going to be able, over the next, 2.5, 3 months we have left before primary day, June 10th, are you going to be able to raise the money that you need to in order to compete with, for example, Jack Ciattarelli, who is, I think you mentioned a minute ago, threw a little shade in his direction. This is now his third run for governor. That means he's got a lot of name recognition.
Oh, right. 9 years and a lot of name recognition doesn't get you to be a governor. It doesn't make you a good governor. Look, I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to raise enough money to be on top. Yeah, as I say, the last shall be first. We entered last. We will be first. You should also note what I said earlier, which is that what I stand for is a movement. We're not a moment. All the others are just a moment. And, the first thing some of these guys tell you is, I've raised this much money. I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm going to tell you about how we're going to make New Jersey better. That's what people want to hear. People don't care that you've raised a little bit more than the other guys.
Oh, no, they don't. But it's the whole, if
Yeah.
a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. That's the challenge in New Jersey politics, right? It's part of the reason why we end up with all these Goldman Sachs millionaires like John Corzine and Phil Murphy, who are awful because you almost have to be a gazillionaire to succeed in New Jersey politics statewide.
Well, right, because they I guess Murphy paid, $75,000 per county chair when he ran, and he tried to do $150,000 for his wife, and that didn't work out so well either. So
It did not.
The party, right, the county line is gone, and people are too smart for that going forward. As I mentioned, we're a movement. We have enough people echoing our message on social media, which is really where you want to be these days, and also, of course, AM radio and FM radio where you are. Just throwing a little shout out to you on that. Thanks for doing that.
Hey, listen, this is what it's all about for us, right? We want people to be able to have direct interaction with the men and women that want to lead their state, lead their country. And we can have a conversation here that you can't have on TV where everything is communication via sound bites. You teased one thing earlier, but you didn't answer arguably the most important question here. Did BLM ever pay your bill that you sent them?
Not only did they not pay it, my town council, which was Democrat controlled, actually changed their ordinance so they didn't have to pay it, unfortunately. But that the point of the matter is that the BLM founders were living in $6 and $10 million homes and would not pay for police overtime. And Governor Murphy, Gerbere Graywall, Platkin, all of them, they created an environment where the majority of the people in New Jersey who are normal, hardworking, tax-paying people were silenced just to promote a fringe group of Marxist theorists who hurt society. And we just couldn't stand for that. So the point was made. That'll never happen again.
Mario Kranjak, everyone. He is one of the Republican candidates for governor this year in the state of New Jersey. They changed the number of signatures you need to get on the ballot, but he's confident he's going to not only get those 2,500 signatures, but also win enough votes to be the Republican nominee for governor in 2025. Mario, where do we find you on social media? You correctly noted a while ago that it's becoming the most important way to connect with the people whose support you're trying to earn. Where do we find you online?
So we're at mariofordnj.com.
That's easy enough, folks, right? Doesn't make it very complicated. Mario Kranjak, everyone. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and as we gallop towards June 10th. Don't be a stranger. Come on back and keep us in the loop about your campaign, all right?
Well, thanks for having me out this evening. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Good to speak with you again. Mario Kranjak, everyone, here on the Matt Rooney Show. Let's take a quick time out because, hey, I have only had 3 coffees so far this program. That's at least half of what I've usually consumed at this point. And we'll be back with more of hour 2 of the Matt Rooney Show in just a few. Don't move a muscle.
Talk Radio 1210's 8th Annual Radiothon, benefiting the Travis Manion Foundation, presented by Edelman's Coins, is this Friday, March 21st. Listen from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. for special guests, surprises, and fun, and help the Travis Manion Foundation empower veterans and families of the fallen, and unite the community through service. Listen all day this Friday on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Thanks to our sponsors, Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer, AMC Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning, now hiring experienced technicians. Veterans encouraged to apply. Visit amcontheweb.com. Tillman Builders. Love your home again with a Tillman Builders renovation.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blown his horn. Already I'm so lonesome I could die.
Goodbye, Tren de Aragua.
So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me
It's a lost opportunity if no one's using AI to do this with Trump.
I'm leaving
Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, God. John Denver didn't deserve his fate. Those scumbags deserve it. I'm glad they're back from whence they came. Ugh. It really was the cap to a wonderful week, too. Learning that, and we started out the show tonight by referencing that it's 300, I think 300 members of this organization have been plucked from this country and shipped back to El Salvador. And a federal judge attempted to stop it, which is, I shouldn't say it's remarkable because, I mean, who's really surprised in 2025 that the left can find a district judge somewhere appointed by Obama or Biden that's willing to usurp federal authority, specifically executive authority. But Donald Trump has taken these evil, evil people and returned them to El Salvador. He flew them down there on a plane despite the federal judiciary's efforts to stop him. And our country is a little bit safer for it. Our great press secretary at the White House, Carolyn Levitt, who was a regular on this station before she came to her new post. I know she was on Rich Zeoli's show a few times. She was on the Matt Rooney show before. She made the announcement earlier today on Fox News.
In just 1 month, President Trump has used his executive authority to secure our southern border. It proves that everybody who claimed we needed a border bill was wrong. We just needed a new president who actually cared about securing our homeland and enforcing our immigration laws. You mentioned daily gotaways, 77. That's an astronomical decrease from the previous administration. There's been a 99% decrease of illegal migrants crossing through the Darien Gap. If you talk to Border Patrol agents and ICE agents, they will tell you that camaraderie in these agencies is at an all-time high because they are actually being allowed to do their jobs. In breaking news this morning, Maria, the president signed a proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act against Tren de Aragua members who have invaded our country. These are the most violent, heinous criminal monsters you could ever imagine. They have taken the lives of innocent American women like Jocelyn Nungre and Laken Riley, and the president invoked this authority to deport nearly 300 of them who are now in El Salvador, where they will be behind bars where they belong rather than roaming freely in American communities. This is a massive win for the American public, and it is going to save lives. But
don't worry, though, because some of you out there hate President Trump more than you believe anything else. So somewhere in the Philly suburbs tonight, on a house where there is a Ukrainian flag hanging outside and a "We Support Federal Workers" sign, someone is creating some kind of pro-Tren de Aragua display as we speak. We stand with illegal rapist criminal gang members from El Salvador. It doesn't really fit neatly on a lawn sign, but you can be damn sure somebody's going to attempt it because they hate Donald Trump more than they love their country, or perhaps even more disturbingly, their fellow countrymen. That's who the left is. That's who these people are in 2025. And now I can report there's also a GOP effort to begin impeaching some of these federal judges, as there rightly should be. I kind of teased this before. Hours, and this was reported, by the way, because we want to give credit, over to Fox News. Hours before the proclamation was signed, it was referenced by Carolyn Levitt a minute ago, a lawsuit was filed by the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, Democracy Forward, and the ACLU of the District of Columbia, claiming it could be used, it being the proclamation, to deport any Venezuelan in the country, regardless of whether or not they are a member of the gang. At a hearing Sunday afternoon, Chief U.S. District Judge James Boasberg of the D.C. Circuit granted a temporary restraining order preventing the deportation of 5 Venezuelans who were already in federal custody for 2 weeks. 2 planes that may have been en route to deport illegal immigrants were ordered returned by the judge. However, it was unclear as of Saturday night if they have done so. Apparently, no, not happening. But a federal judge ordering to turn a plane around loaded with terrorists as declared by the President of the United States. I mean, it's bonkers. And I'm speaking tonight as an attorney. I have reverence for the Constitution. I have reverence for our system, as imperfect as it is. It's still the greatest system in the world. But this type of judicial order is just an extension of the lawfare that Donald Trump endured for years in the run-up to election 2024. There are people in my profession, and some of them are wearing black robes, that no longer believe in the Constitution or the rule of law, just like their fellow leftists waving their Ukrainian flags and putting their inane lawn signs on their front lawns, right? They believe in, we hate Donald Trump. They believe in Orange Man bad. They believe in radical fringe leftism. And that's all they care about. That's all they care about. That's all they're working towards. Well, if you're a federal judge and that's your jurisprudence, guess what? You violated your oath. And you should no longer occupy your office. You should be impeached and you should be removed. Now, is it going to happen with the current composition of Congress? Probably not. Probably not. But the gauntlet needs to be thrown down. If you stand with the Constitution, if you stand for the rule of law, if you stand for keeping this country safe, we need you. We want you. If you don't, you've lost the privilege. Actually, I think the federal judge should probably get on the plane with the next batch of Tren de Aragua members. He or she can, or Zur, right, can go down to El Salvador and hang out with the people that they feel so darn bad for, right? Maybe that'll change their attitude. Maybe that'll adjust their jurisprudence. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. 2 hours gone. But for anybody who has not yet been deported, we have trace hours here on the Matt Rooney Show. One more left. One more left. So grab some coffee, pop some popcorn, and we'll be back with hour number 3 in just a sec.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball.
It was fun, 100% every time. It's spectacular.
Joe Conklin's awesome, hysterical.
Super funny. I love the horns. Oh my God.
Really enjoyed it.
That's Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Matt's on Fayette Street in Conshohocken, Saturday, April 26th, supporting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School baseball. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
Dry, windy conditions could increase the risk for more wildfires.
Trump administration officials say they are increasing their removal of alleged gang members. More on that from CBS's Willie James Inman.
President Trump invoked a 1798 law restricted to wartime use to speed up deportation of some migrants, including suspected members of a Venezuelan gang, saying they are threatening the U.S. The ACLU sued to stop the action. El Salvador's president posting video on social media showing alleged gang members arriving in his country, after a federal judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from carrying out the wartime powers.
The judge made his ruling as the planes were in the air headed to El Salvador. They didn't return to the U.S. Pentagon officials say U.S. fighter jets have downed 11 drones launched at American warships in the Red Sea by Houthi rebels in Yemen. President Trump is accusing Iran of supporting the rebels. On Face the Nation, Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
The reason why the president mentioned Iran is because the Iranians have supported the Houthis. They've provided them intelligence. They've provided them guidance. They've provided them weaponry. I mean, there's no way the Houthis, okay, the Houthis would have the ability to do this kind of thing unless they had support from Iran. And so this was a message to Iran. Don't keep supporting them.
What better place to watch a St. Patrick's Day parade but in a city where 1 in 5 residents are of Irish descent? Here's CBS News Boston reporter Logan Hall.
You can't imagine the spirit in Boston. Like, it's so much fun. Like, everyone here is always, like, out to have a great time. And, like, I always have a great time here with my friends.
The parade dates back over 100 years and features local elected officials and businesses. The route started out on West Broadway and went throughout South Boston with huge crowds all along the way.
March Madness is upon us. The Auburn Tigers have been chosen as the #1 overall seed for the NCAA tournament. Here's CBS Sports' Mike Doyle.
There's going to be upsets, right? You got to find those double-digit seeds. Every year they advance. But, yes, the #1 seeds this year, I could see at least 2. I think 2 get there.
Conference champions Duke, Houston, and Florida have also been seeded #1 in their regions. Auburn's lost 3 of its last 4 games, by the way. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine kit. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list? I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Chocolate is getting more expensive, and you might be surprised why.
Add another effect of climate change to an ever-growing list: damage to cocoa trees in Indonesia. Hotter and wetter weather is spreading deadly fungus and pests to the trees. Cocoa supplies are falling, causing prices to soar to record levels. Now, businesses are pairing with farmers to try to better protect crops, training them and providing financial support. Indonesia is the 3rd largest producer of cocoa in the world. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
How embarrassing. The organizers of a marathon in southern Taiwan have apologized after they gave prizes to the winners in the shape of a golden Chinese machine gun. Officials say the use of the image of the Chinese rifle on trophies was an unintentional mistake. The runners who got that trophy have the option of choosing one without a Chinese rifle on it. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine kit. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list? I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hour number 3, no longer incoming, folks. It's underway here on the Matt Rooney Show. Broadcasting from the banks of the lukewarm Schuylkill River tonight. been chilly lately. I came in tonight in a T-shirt. And only once I got into the ice box that is our studio did I put on a quarter zip that thankfully I brought in with me. I almost thought about leaving it in the car, producer Justin.
I actually got to wear shorts for the first time in about 5 months.
Hey now.
And
hey now. Isn't that fun?
Oh, it's freeing being released from the chains, the confinement that is full-legged pants, and letting my calves enjoy some fresh air.
That is an image, to be sure, but one I can find common cause with. How do you feel about sandals or flip-flops?
Sandals, it depends. Flip-flops, no.
Okay.
I mean,
because I come in here into the studio in the summer like half naked. I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing flip-flops. Des gets very annoyed.
Like
he says that men should have their feet covered.
Sorry. I mean, it depends. Like, I'm fine with a little bit of letting the dogs free in certain circumstances. Like if you're at the beach. I mean, I am a big proponent of Crocs. I love Crocs.
You do love Crocs?
I'm wearing Crocs right now.
Okay. See, a lot of people get a little worked up about the whole Crocs thing.
I don't see.
My kid loves them. They're very in with the young people these days.
It's like you get the best of both worlds. You get the breathability of an open-toed shoe, but you get the secured snugness of a closed-toed shoe, all in one. Plus, you have freedom mode. You have the little back strap up, or you can put it in sport mode and have it really secured to your feet. So,
what about Crocs with socks?
Crocs with socks. That's where you're losing me.
Because Gen Alpha loves wearing Crocs with socks.
My thing with Crocs with socks is they make Crocs that have.
It sounds like a Dr. Seuss book, by the way. Crocs with socks.
It does, but like
how about on a fox?
They make Crocs with like UGG type fur, like faux. I don't know if it's real fur or faux fur, but they make Crocs with like a fuzzy insole, so you don't even need socks. You shouldn't need socks to wear with Crocs.
You shouldn't have to. By the way, over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, Chris, hello, good evening, by the way, Chris. Said, I seem to recall Zioli commenting on Rooney's flip-flops. Yeah, it gets talked about around here. And I think to some degree it's an over-adjustment because when I first started with my program back in July 2021, I showed up the first day with like khakis and a collared shirt, as you might when you were starting a new job, not appreciating the obvious joke, which is that especially back then, before we started broadcasting on YouTube regularly, now we stream these shows, nobody could see what you look like. Dom Giordano was practically the only one wearing pants coming in here to the studio, right? Because Dom's a class act. He's the dean of Philly radio. Nah, man, like nobody comes dressed like that. So now I've kind of overcompensated, and as I said, when it's the warmer months here in Philadelphia, I come in darn near like I'm going to the beach, So that time is rapidly approaching, and I'm very excited for it.
The Hawaiian shirts in my closet are screaming. They're staring at me like the Green Goblin mask.
Oh yes, no, I'm a big fan of. I call them the fun guy shirts.
They 100% are.
And I start wearing them again probably after Easter. I'll start bringing in my fun guy shirts. And for those of you that are loyal Matt Rooney Show listeners, that you're familiar with my fun guy shirts, I've got a couple new Trump ones for you this year, right? Kimmy says guys shouldn't wear sandals unless on the beach. I'm sorry, Kimmy.
Sometimes you just got to let the dogs breathe.
You can add radio to that. Guys shouldn't wear sandals unless they're on the beach or they are creating excellent radio here in the Delaware Valley. Remember, it's youtube.com/@1210WPHT. You can also call in 855-839-1210. You can also, because we like giving you options here, this is a free country for as long as we can keep it. You can interact with me over on X. My handle is Matt Rooney NJ. That's where you can find me on that particular platform. Justin, have you ever wanted to be in the movies? You, like me, have a face for radio, but is that something that intrigues you?
Acting, it's never been my thing. I mean, when I was in
You've never dreamed about being in film?
No,
because I have an opportunity for you. I thought maybe you and I could go try out together.
I'm all for experiences. What you got for me?
So I know our audience is probably infatuated with Robert De Niro.
Oh boy,
right, with all the wacky things that he's been saying recently about our beloved president. So apparently De Niro is casting for a Netflix movie in New Jersey. He's looking for New Jersey residents to serve as extras in this movie. And let's see what it's called. It's called The Whisper Man, right? I wonder if it's about Biden.
Ooh.
The Whisper Man. The sequel will be The Hair Sniffer.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid.
Oh, well, you're a little of both, Joe. I hate to break it to you. But apparently this is what's being reported by the New Jersey Motion Picture and TV Commission. What's interesting about this, okay, they're going to pay people $216 for 8 hours, okay, if they're SAG members. That's the union out in Hollywood. $181.50 for 10 hours. Okay, so let's do $181.50 divided by 10. That's about $18, right? I'm sure that Robert De Niro can dig a little bit deeper than that. I'm just throwing that out there, right? Because that's, I mean, like right now, minimum wage in New Jersey is $15.49, so you're barely paying above minimum wage.
Did it go up again?
Oh yeah,
I remember it was 15 in 2024.
So what they did is, under Murphy, they set it on track to eventually reach $15 an hour, but after that, there's like CPI increases.
Okay.
Yeah, Consumer Price Index. So yeah, it's just going to keep rising. One of the many reasons why doing business in the Garden State is absolutely miserable. But you can get paid. You have to provide some information. You need proof of New Jersey residency, which is really more than you have to provide to get a driver's license in New Jersey now, since we're a sanctuary state. You need 2 recent non-professional photos, a close-up and a full body shot. So for us, I don't know whether we should do the fun guy shirts with sandals or not. Should we wear pants? Should we not wear pants?
Maybe De Niro will get a kick out of the fun guy shirts. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not the Trump ones. Maybe the Trump ones for you can stay in the closet.
But if this is a movie about Biden, the Whisper Man, then there should be some Trumpies in it, right? Even if we're the villains.
Yeah, you know what? That might. Yeah, you're cooking something here.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we can just tell them we're in character. So we got to figure out which types of pictures we're going to give them. Car details, if applicable, including year, make, model, color, and a photo of the vehicle. I don't know why that's relevant. Is your car going to be an extra as well? Or they just want to know who's parking on the lot? Visible tattoos. They want to know about your visible tattoos. I don't have any, except for that little head of Rich Zioli I have on my lower back. Which I only show people at parties after a certain hour, so. I mean, I guess I have to disclose that. You've got some tats.
I do have some tats.
You have some
on my
tats.
arm.
So they're going to want to see your tats. Here's the kicker, though. Full name, phone number, and are you ready for it? Pronouns. They want your pronouns.
You had me. I was getting ready to take a tasteful full body shot a la George Costanza, laying on the couch, letting the chest hair, the boxers, the artful pose, and then you just had to ruin it with the kicker right at the end.
We're really painting people quite an image tonight. See, I thought you wanted me to draw you instead. He said to me off air, folks, he said, Matt, paint me like one of your French girls. And I was going to do it, Leo DiCaprio style, but that's out. So make sure if you want to be in Robert De Niro's movie, you come armed with your pronouns, whatever they might be, if you want Bobby to pay you a little bit better than minimum wage. I'm sure Donald Trump paid better than Robert De Niro's going to pay.
I love New Jersey.
Yeah, that's about right. Who's the guy, though? Hold on. What's that show about the people that have bifurcated minds on Apple TV? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, as soon as you said Apple TV, you lost me again.
he's like, what? Apple TV?
I used that 6-month free trial when I got my 13 Pro Max. After that, it does not exist. It does not exist.
Adam Scott, that's who it is.
Oh, okay. Well,
he was in Parks and Recreation,
Yeah.
right? And apparently he's going to be in this movie. So there you go. Exciting times.
Severance. I think it's
Severance, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's Severance.
My brain is severed on Sunday evening, so I had a little bit of trouble. Getting there. I've got another great Jersey story for you, too. It's a Jersey-centric night, as it often is with me. But you know what? Let's take a break, right? Too much excitement, right, is too much for anyone. We need to play some ads. We need to make some cash around here. We are capitalists here at the Matt Rooney Show. I don't work for free, right? You see me if you're watching on YouTube. This just doesn't happen. This takes time and effort and money. And then we'll be back with the aforementioned Jersey story and a whole heck of a lot more here on 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies too. For affordable life insurance, call 800-529-2856.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
We get up Sunday morning, we go grocery shopping. We're at Aldi. Thanks to Dawn Stensland for the Aldi recommendation. It's a lifesaver. It's $5.97 for a carton of eggs, and it says limit 2. And my wife says, grab eggs for the girls. What do you mean for the girls? She goes, well, I'm going to make breakfast for all of them when I get. I said, so you're going to feed the neighborhood when eggs are $5.97 a carton? My head almost exploded. $5.97. Now she wants to feed everybody. Now all of a sudden we're Old Country Buffet.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Looking for a natural way to boost energy, support your heart, stay active as you age? It's time to try Rescue Orosine. This unique supplement gives your body the essentials it needs to fight fatigue, improve stamina, without relying on sugar, caffeine, or artificial boosters. Plus, it supports healthy blood pressure and overall cardiovascular function, helping you feel your best every day. Right now, my listeners can take advantage of a special buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Orosine. Just use the code MyEnergy when you order. Call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. You speak with a knowledgeable product consultant or visit res-q.com and enter that code MyEnergy at checkout. Don't miss out. This exclusive deal will not last long. Go to res-q.com and use that code MyEnergy, MYENERGY, to grab Rescue Orosine with that buy one, get one free saving. Stay energized, stay heart healthy with Rescue Natural Supplements.
Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer. Edelman'sCoins.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
pennies for someday. Mama Leone left a note on the door. She said, Sonny, move out to the country. Mom, we're working too hard to give you a heart attack. You wanna know by now? Who needs a house out in Hackensack? Is that all you get for your money?
I mean, in New Jersey, that is about all you get for your money, Billy. Last year, the average property tax bill in New Jersey hit $10,000. That's why a lot of people are moving out. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot higher than $10,000 on average up in Hackensack. Billy Joel can afford it, though. Here's the Jersey story I was going to talk to you about, coming to you from the New York Post. And we talk a lot about how there's certain things that only would happen in New Jersey because my home state's such a unique space in the universe, right? Here you go. The headline says it all. Ex-Gambino mobster John Ulite, who served time for murders and beatdowns, is now a New Jersey councilman. He's here to redeem my whole life. That's the quote, Justin. Sometimes, and I make a practice of this on the radio, I don't like to just read articles to you. I think that's lazy. But sometimes it's appropriate. So bear with me. I need to give you a little bit about this one. He's gone from lawbreaker to lawmaker. John Ulite, a former Gambino crime family enforcer turned mob turncoat, was sworn in Wednesday as a councilman representing the sleepy New Jersey borough of Englishtown. That's up in Monmouth County, by the way. You know what? I can really do some good. I already had a bad past, and I'm here to redeem my whole life, and I would like to go out doing everything in a positive way, Elite 62 told the Post. His work in the 1980s and 1990s as a top earner for the Teflon Don Gambino boss John Gotti and son John Jr. Gotti will serve him well in politics, he explained. I understand the Machiavelli stuff, the treachery, said Elite. That's an actual quote in the New York Post.
I love this state sometimes, man.
Oh, my God. Where do I live? But listen, this is... Maybe he's on to something. Like, think about it, right? New Jersey is, and I'm speaking about New Jersey government specifically, right? It makes the D.C. swamp seem like a tropical paradise, right? Like, it is a corrupt, swampy hellhole of bureaucrats and criminals and corrupt, far, 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 far leftists, right, that believe they are entitled to your money and they think they're completely unaccountable because, let's face it, up until this point, they have been. We have not only tons of corruption in New Jersey, but we have corruption the likes of which you don't really see anywhere else. One of my personal favorites was Operation Bid Rig. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was back in, I think it was 2009, right? They charged 44 individuals. And as part of Operation Bid Rig, there was even people selling kidneys, right? Like other states, like corruption is like, oh, I'm going to give you like an envelope to speed up this project that benefits my company, right? Some kind of quid pro quo. Actual kidneys being exchanged in New Jersey. Like you cannot make this stuff up.
You're not getting that in any other state. Pay that much for free.
Right. So maybe I'm going to be charitable here. Maybe Mr. Elite is on to something. Maybe it takes a guy, a reformed mobster, to understand how to work in this world that is New Jersey politics. Right? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, hey,
I haven't figured it out.
We let Murphy have 2 terms as governor. Why not just let him give me a shot? See what happens. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, Murphy killed 10,000 seniors in nursing homes.
I guarantee you, Elite won't.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know anything about this guy's criminal history other than what I read in the Post. But I'm thinking he doesn't have 10,000 seniors blood on his hands, right?
Not at all.
Even like Sammy the Bull didn't get a body count like that. So arguably, we're still trading up here. So there you go, folks. All the best news from the great Garden State, where I reside, and I'm proud to call that state my home. It's where I live. Speaking of criminal investigations, while we're on that topic, there's some news on the Tesla vandalism front. Now, you probably have been following this in the news, that one of the ways that the left's Orange Man Bad TDS derangement is manifesting itself in term number 2 is they are torching and vandalizing Teslas. Some of it is more mild stuff like keying cars, still awful, right? But some of it is evolved into much more serious behavior. It's actual terroristic behavior, which has led the Department of Justice to take a look at these attacks on Tesla. That's the interesting thing about TDS. It manifests itself differently over time. It was very different in the first Trump term. The symptoms of this particular variant of the disease, entirely different. First time around, it was lots of anger and disbelief, right? Lots of performative displays of upsetness that the evil orange man had found a way to win the great prize in American politics, had ascended all the way to the presidency. This time, I feel like it's going one direction or the other. It's either people are completely wigging out and descending into criminality, right? Worse than something you've seen from the Gambino crime family, right? They're like vandalizing Teslas and dealerships, or they're just completely despondent and they've shut down. They're depressed. They're laying on their couch, eating Oreos by the sleeve, binge watching Sex in the City, just depressed as all hell. Well, our great Attorney General, Pam Bondi, she's digging into this, and now one of the alleged Tesla terrorists has now been arrested. This is cut number 9, an update from our new Attorney General.
We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
Wow.
And
Well,
if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
So, I mean,
she's coming for you, right? Because it's about the rule of law. This isn't. Let's use a phrase from the January 6th cabal's lexicon here, producer Justin. This isn't legitimate political discourse, is it? Right? They were ready, right, to declare the Republic fallen over a couple dopes dressed as Vikings stealing podiums at the Capitol building. But people are throwing Molotov cocktails through the windows of car dealerships. Right? A deadly thing. For those of you that aren't clear on what a Molotov cocktail is, right? You light a rag attached to a bottle that's full of like kerosene or some kind of, flammable liquid, right? You can kill people, not just blow up Teslas, but you're throwing a Molotov cocktail into a dealership that's full of vehicles that have batteries, right? I mean, you see the problem here? You've ever seen a Tesla on fire online? It ain't pretty.
You can't put those out.
Yeah.
You just got to let them burn.
But these people, I guess, are freedom fighters or something, right? In the eyes of the left.
They think like they're living in some kind of upside-down red dawn where they are the resistance fighters.
I've been saying it since term 1, man. Like, the left has seen too many movies. Like, remember when they were all referring to themselves as the resistance? Like they're in a Star Wars movie or something like that? Like, you're not Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're a bunch of sad people that's biggest complaint during COVID is you ran out of stuff to watch on Netflix. You use phrases like I adopted cats, right? Maybe you have a cat. Maybe you have a pet cat. You didn't adopt the cat. It's not a person, right? You're weirdos. Let me give you though. Let's pull this back here for a second. One of the greatest things about Donald Trump though is that he succeeds like no one else in causing the left to reveal themselves for who they are, right? he's gotten the left to admit some incredible things, to do some incredible things, which have outed them in the eyes of the American people. What I'm about to play for you might be the most extraordinary example of Donald Trump's success in this arena. The left hates him, and now by extension, Elon Musk, so much with the fire of 1,000 burning Teslas. That's how much their hatred for these two gentlemen burns, because they resent what they're doing to save this country, that they've actually gotten Democrats to turn on the environment and embrace gas-guzzling, emission-slinging SUVs. This is Arizona Democrat Senator Mark Kelly, who actually put a video up bragging about how he's no longer going to consider a Tesla electric vehicle. He's going to drive a Chevy Tahoe instead. Listen to this. Cut number 8, excuse me.
All right, here I am with my new ride, Chevy, good old Chevy Tahoe, here in Washington, D.C. Got one of these in Tucson as well. This one was made by Union Labor, United Auto Workers in Arlington, Texas. Always good to buy Union cars, incredibly reliable. And I'm looking forward to driving this for many, many years.
Well. So I just asked Google AI, right, about the Chevy Tahoe. This is the AI overview. And I want to point out, for those of you that are a little bit touched in the head, this is Google AI. This is not Matt Rooney's opinion. The Chevy Tahoe, like other vehicles with internal combustion engines, contributes to global warming through the release of greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide, during fuel combustion. The EPA found that GM vehicles, including the Tahoe, emitted more CO2 than initially claimed in compliance reports, leading to a settlement and a fine for the automaker. Now, according to one newspaper, which reviewed the Chevy Tahoe, they said the Tahoe's a dream machine but pours 20 pounds of CO2. Clutch your pearls, folks. 20 pounds of CO2 into our atmosphere with every gallon. It gets only 14 miles per gallon in the city, 19 on the highway. And Mark Kelly says he's going to be driving this vehicle for years to come, all to own Elon Musk.
Not just one of them. He's got 2 of them. He said
Two?
He's got one. He said he had one in Tucson, back in Arizona. So
Mark Kelly might as well just stab a polar bear right in the neck, right? Rather than let that poor thing drown slowly. Oh, my God. Ugh.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity. But, like, do you get it, folks? Are you seeing it now? Do you see it? This is the genius of the Donald. This is why he is the indispensable man. Not only is he fighting for you and doing the things that Republican politicians have promised us for decades they were going to do. I mean, case in point, he hasn't officially gotten rid of it yet, but he's like half the Department of Education. And he hasn't even been in office for 2 full months yet. Reagan didn't do it. Bush didn't do it. Plenty of Republican politicians have talked about it. Didn't happen. The Trumpster is doing it. Not only is he accomplishing all these great things, but he forces these people to reveal who they really are. They don't actually believe this stuff, right? I mean, some of their crazy people do. Like the guy that's throwing the Molotov cocktail through the window at the Tesla dealership. He's either being paid by somebody that really believes it, or he's crazy enough to truly believe it. We'll get to the bottom of that, maybe. Maybe Pam Bondi will get to the bottom of it. But Mark Kelly, he knows better. He knows better. He's been to space. He's seen the Earth. He knows that a bunch of SUVs can't fundamentally change our climate permanently, right? There's been volcanic eruptions that have done more to affect our climate than the entire Industrial Revolution. It's politics. It's the politics of fear. It's the politics of manipulation. It's the politics of victimization, like we talked about earlier on tonight's program. You're not falling for it. Part of the reason why this audience is growing and our larger America First movement is growing is because thankfully more and more Americans are seeing people like Mark Kelly for exactly who they are. And we're going to keep at this project from now until they kick us off air, whether that be tonight at 10 p.m. at the end of this program or at a distant point in the future where the politics changes and Mark Kelly changes his, or trades, I should say, his vehicles back in for, I don't know, an electric vehicle. We'll see. 855-839-1210 is the number. YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT. You're listening to the Matt Rooney Show. I am the aforementioned Matt Rooney. Quick timeout. Back in a sec.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business?
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Meanwhile, while Mark Kelly is ditching his Tesla in Arizona, up in the true north, strong and free, or at least it was at one point, Canada, Mark Carney, who's taken over as Prime Minister of Canada from Castro's kid, Justin Trudeau, has decided to eliminate the consumer carbon tax. Isn't that something? Didn't have that on my bingo cards. It's almost like leftists everywhere are appreciating that they're in deep, deep doo-doo, Justin.
Only a little too late for them to really fix the mistakes that they've made.
Yeah, no, Canada's in trouble. And like a lot of other places around the globe, I think it's going to be turning right out of necessity. Out of necessity. We talked about it earlier tonight. I mean, it's one thing for, me or you to sit here on the radio and try to explain to people why leftism is dangerous to your prosperity, to your health, to your family's future. It's another thing to see it up close and personal, to experience it yourself. Some of my favorite Americans to interact with are those that have experienced tyranny elsewhere, and they're able to recognize it in this country when it rears its ugly head because they know what it looks like. I remember years ago I was at a wedding in New England, and I was sitting at a table with a fisherman who emigrated here from Poland, and he was in Poland during the Cold War era before the Iron Curtain was dismantled. While the Eastern Bloc was still under the influence of the Soviet Union. And, people that come here from that sort of regime as their formative experience, they get it. They understand it. The leftists in this country, ironically, tend to be those that are the most privileged, that have benefited most grandly from our system, from the opportunities that arise from freedom. They've been enriched. They've been fattened. And now they're ingrates. That's why, the Republican Party's ranks are now swelling with the sort of people the Democrats have been telling us for years belong to the Democrat Party as a matter of right. And it's because they're starting to ask, well, what's in it for me in this Democrat Party coalition where I'm told that I'm a victim? That's my place. I need to stay in my box. And I'll never be able to rise above my station, but maybe I can get a little bit more government cheese or at least a feeling of satisfaction by someone else who I'm being told is keeping me down, being taken down a notch. That's not much of a promise of a better tomorrow. But you be the judge, folks. I'm just a guy on the radio. Here's something interesting. Hold on, let me pull this up here with my fat fingers. Here you go. I saw this earlier and nearly fell out of my chair. Things are happening all over the world, Justin. This is from the Daily Mail over on the other end of the pond. Labor Minister rubbished spy chief. They've got great words over there. Rubbished.
Not a fan of England. Big fan of how they use words. Rubbish. It's such a good way. Like, some of their phrases are incredible.
Yes. They've gone full Orwell, nightmarish dystopian hellscape, but they still use the language so much better than we do. You're totally right about that. Labor Minister rubbished spy chief's secret dossier on Wuhan lab leak theory during pandemic, despite Boris demanding probe to avoid offending China. Dum, dum, dum. A labor minister was last night at the center of an explosive row over claims he rubbished high-level intelligence pointing to COVID's origins in a Chinese laboratory. The Daily Mail can reveal on Sunday that a former spy chief submitted a secret dossier to number 10. For those of you that don't know, that's the British equivalent of the White House, where the prime minister lives. Early in the pandemic, reporting the virus had originated with a leak from a Wuhan facility. But Lord Valence, the science minister, who was the government's chief scientific advisor at the time, is accused of ignoring the report, possibly out of fear of offending the Chinese or jeopardizing research funding. A classified dossier compiled by Sir Richard Dearlove, the former head of MI16, or MI6, was passed to then Prime Minister Boris Johnson at the start of the outbreak in March 2020, which stated it is now beyond reasonable doubt that COVID-19 was engineered in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Blech. Say that 3 times fast. Could have got that much easier in the 7 o'clock hour. But let's emphasize that date. Okay? This was passed, this report, to Boris Johnson, who was prime minister at the time, at the start of the outbreak in March 2020. How long after that were people over here in this country still getting banned or suspended on social media for saying such a thing? For daring to point out that there was strong evidence that, hey, maybe COVID-19 didn't come about because some idiot in China ate a bat, right?
How many people are still getting visits? Like, not even this isn't an America thing, thank God, but how many people in the UK are still getting visits from their police department over tweets they make relating to COVID?
Right.
That is an insane thing to think. Like, how is that even comprehensible as an okay thing to let happen in the year of our Lord 2025?
Oh, it's so true. I mean, look, like, to your point, right? This is the country that stood up to Hitler, right, before our own country joined World War II. We all remember the impassioned speeches of Churchill during those desperate days of the Blitz when he stood firm against the Nazi tyranny. He never said Nazi, it was Nazi tyranny, right? Another one of the great communicators of our time. It's the country that gave us J.K. Rowling, gave us Tolkien, right? Gave us C.S. Lewis. They've produced some of the greatest fantasy series in the history of the planet. And all of them kind of share, even though I just named some very different people, they all kind of share this common theme, the importance of freedom, free expression, right? That's disappearing in the United Kingdom as we speak. And this illustrates one of the many reasons why that's insane, right? Because the idea that the government should be the arbiter of truth. Well, what is the truth, right? Is it what the government says? Is it where the facts lead? Is it something that's specific to your particular worldview? I mean, here the government in the UK was actively lying to people, much like our own government lied to us at various points during COVID. And it's particularly true of my experience in New Jersey, where Phil Murphy is my governor. We were lied to. Joe Biden, during the pandemic, told us, hey, take the shot. You're not going to get COVID. You're not going to spread it. God, even when I hear him, it's like getting some kind of horrible flashback.
You get the 1,000-yard stare, your eyes glaze over, much like Biden himself.
Much like Biden himself. Who I'd imagine, I guess, is somewhere being fed Werther candies.
Dr. Jill
by
has
Dr.
him
Jill
in the crypt in somewhere in Wilmington, Delaware, feeding him pudding every morning, telling him how great of a president he was.
Oh, God.
He'll forget it by noon, but Dr. Jill will remind him the next day.
Well, she was basically president, right?
With the whole auto pen thing. Maybe.
I was going to say, I've got this image of her sitting in the basement working the auto pen. Have you ever worked an auto pen, by the way?
I have not.
So I was an intern many years ago at the RNC, right? And I wasn't signing executive orders, obviously, but they had me in the basement one time, and there was an auto pen, and it was like, Christmas cards, from the chairman of the RNC. And I remember sitting there pressing the pedal, and you'd bring it in front, and you'd put it over here, and then the idea of somebody doing this with laws, executive orders, pardons, proclamations, declarations, resolutions, and all other sorts of things that carry legal
documents.
Import, right? And I have this. When I heard that story, I had this image of me sitting in the basement of the RNC, putting Ken Mellman. I think it was Ken Mellman was chairman at the time of the RNC, putting his signature on Christmas cards. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's how our government operated for 4 years. 4 years. But look, even though this revelation from the UK concerning COVID is not going to surprise a single darn person that's listening to the show tonight, I still think it's important to share it with you because you need to know that this is happening. You need to know this is happening. You need to know that your government often lies to you. In some parts of the world, the government is still lying to its people about COVID, right? And I mean, thank God for this particular report from the Daily Mail. Hopefully this drives another nail in Labor's coffin, right? Because they haven't been polling too well. Actually, Farage's party's been doing quite well in some of the recent polling. Last survey I saw, I want to say it was from YouGov, had a 3-way tie. Quite remarkable. There could be a sea change coming in the politics of the United Kingdom, much like there's been a sea change in our own politics here in recent years with the ascendancy of Donald Trump and his MAGA movement. So something to keep an eye on, obviously. One thing we didn't talk about tonight, because there's never enough time to get to everything, is the strikes that Donald Trump launched over the weekend on the Houthi rebels. So, these terrorists that have essentially shut down shipping lanes, some of the most significant shipping lanes in the entire world. And the Biden administration's approach was to just back off. Like, hey, you know what? I know it's going to increase the complexity and the expense of international trade, but, God forbid we declare war on anyone or do anything unless it's going to line the pockets of the big guy, right? War in Ukraine, good, because the Bidens can get rich off of that. Standing up for international commerce and American businesses that would like to be able to ship their goods around the world without being attacked by pirates or worse, not a priority for the Biden administration. Here's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz filling us all in. I think this is from earlier today over on ABC This Week on the president's goals.
The difference is these were not kind of pinprick, back and forth, what ultimately proved to be feckless attacks. This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out. And the difference here is, one, going after the Houthi leadership, and two, holding Iran responsible. It is Iran that has repeatedly funded, resourced, trained, and helped the Houthis target not only U.S. warships, but global commerce, and has helped the Houthis shut down 2 of the world's most strategic sea lanes. We have, Martha, 70% of global shipping is now diverting around southern Africa, adding to the cost of goods, disrupting global economies, adding to or shutting off supplies to the United States. President Trump has found it unacceptable. What we inherited was a terrible situation, and this is one of what will be a sustained effort to right that wrong and to reopen global commerce.
So this is what America First looks like in the foreign policy arena, right? Spending gazillions of dollars with no accountability to fuel a meat grinder in Eastern Europe isn't necessarily an America First priority, right? It's not what's best for this country. It's not what's best for the West and the cause of freedom. Making sure that our ships have free egress through some of the most critical shipping lanes in the world without being attacked by rebel thugs, yeah, that's a priority. That's something that is important and our government should be on top of, and it's not an issue that should be ceded, but it was for a long time, 4 long years during the regime of the big guy, Joe Biden, who, as Justin pointed out, is probably currently being fed hard candies by Joe Biden in an undisclosed location in a bunker somewhere in Wilmington, Delaware, right? Safely away from power, but no less pathetic for it. This is one of the many reasons why I am such an optimist these days. I'm not someone that expects to avoid hard times, but goodness gracious, have we lived through some in this country. But things are finally moving back in the right direction. And as the polling data I shared with you earlier tonight indicates, a strong majority of your fellow Americans agree. So here's my parting words for you this evening. We've learned the lessons of the past. Don't allow the left to ever control the narrative ever again. The media, the legacy media, the institutionalized media, their monopoly on the flow of information is broken permanently. Don't accept a bad premise. Don't let them this spring try to convince you that our movement, Mario Kranjak talked about it earlier tonight, our movement is anything other than what it is, which is a majority movement. Most people agree with us, even if, as the great late Rush Limbaugh once said, even if they don't know it yet. So it's our job to bring them that gospel. That's what we do here on this program. It's what we need to continue to do every single day. 2024 was the start. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something big, and it's going to snowball and get bigger every single day if we do our part. Next stop, New Jersey 2025. After that, 2026. And we can build something together which is not only going to make America great again, but keep it great and protect it from some of these crazy bad actors who don't deserve or can be trusted anywhere near the levers of power. Our country's too great for us to allow it to ever happen again. Let's make sure that's the case. I'm down for it. I hope you are too. But for now, I want to thank everyone who listened in tonight's program. I want to thank producer Justin for doing an ace job as per usual. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, and keep fighting for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
We gathered real Pennsylvania seniors and asked them how they would benefit from an extra $1,000. Here's what they had to say.
Everything is so expensive these days.
Car expenses, repairs.
My groceries, heating costs.
Medications. Sure, I could easily spend $1,000 like that.
Through Pennsylvania's property tax rent rebate program, eligible seniors and adults with disabilities could receive up to $1,000. Check your eligibility and apply online. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments?